Right, I'm so glad they put the lights on because my eyesight's awful. Okay, earlier on I heard a reference to Luton. People are always bad-mouthing Luton and saying negative stuff about Luton. How long have I got? 2 minutes? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I'll do this poem. It's entitled Luton's Arms. And the irony is I've just moved out of Luton, but I wrote this way, way back last year. Right. Luton's Arms. I still have affection for Luton. Like a loving mother, you have opened your arms to generations from near and far-flung places. Listen to me. To offer security to the lost and the weary. You have never turned anyone away who needed a home, a shelter, a place to stay. You opened your arms wide and bid the weary come inside. You endeavour those in your care to have a fair opportunity to the world and what's out there. The children in your arms grow bolder, nurtured until they're older. You took in those who wanted to put down roots and those who just needed a brief stay, and some found it fine to stay put, remained anyway. You opened your arms even wider as a humanitarian to ease and take away sufferation of those fleeing tyranny, wickedness and persecution. You feed the hungry with cuisine for various palates. For food and vitals, no one has to go without. Your generosity sustains and gives life to the weak, no doubt. Your arms opened and took my family and me in when we were transitioning and moving from temporary. For that, Luton, we thank you for shelter and sanctuary. Thank you. I don't want to be disobedient.
I know this lady. She's got plenty. She's just checking with me. Can she do another one? Do we want another one?
Yes.
Drop that one. You know which one.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Bear with me. I just need to find something a bit light. Okay, let's do something.
Do you want me to sing?
Yeah.
Why are you shaking your head, Cindy? What do we know? Okay, do you know what? There's still some seats. Make some room for the guys, people, please. Please. There's no more seats? There's no more chairs. Well, this is what happens, you see, when you put on a successful event. So give yourself a round of applause, guys. Thank you so much. She's ready.
Okay, show of hands. Anybody like plantain in here? Or plantain? Or planting? Right, lots of hands up. Right, I'm Jamaican, I say planting.
Yeah, planting.
But anyway, planting love. I write about all sorts of things, by the way. And politics too. Planting love. We were introduced way back in time. Sometimes straying, but always returning to sublime. When I came to know and did eat, I licked my mouth and even my teeth. When Patty created the book, My Delicious Planting, 51 Ways to Cook, I fell in love all over again. Happy to indulge in the sweet silkenness, texture, how to describe knowing plantain so blessed. Roasted and steamed, boiled and fried, sautéed and creamed, that you are fine. No dream. Plantain, I pledge love. I pledge loyalty. No, won't share you, gift from above. Plantain, I love you. Okay. Pardon? Oh, sis! Later, thank you.
Thank you for that. From an African point of view, I think it's plantain.
Sandra, give it up, Sandra Ewers. Hi there. I don't know how I follow that poetry, but I'm just going to say I'm a poet and I just don't know it. That's the best I can do. Hi there. Right, I'm Sandra Ewers. I'm U and type 2. And I'm here to talk about diabetes. The gist of it is I developed diabetes in 2017 and I've lost 2 stone and I'm now in remission of diabetes. So let me tell you about my story. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, I'm going to start again. Who am I? So I'm Sandra Ewers. I'm a wife and mother of 2. Wife to Robert and mother to Sasha and Zach. 2 amazing children. And I'm a health and fitness blogger as a result of me losing 2 stone. I am on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook blogging about good health. I'm also a radio presenter on Women's Radio Station in London as a result of everything that's happened to me with my own radio show called Diabetic Dialogue, and I'm keeping the conversation going about diabetes and fighting the war on diabetes, as there are 4 million people in the UK that have diabetes, and that is the reason I'm here, and 415 million worldwide. It's 1 in 11 people. I'm also a patient representative for the NHS and CCG, so I attend NHS meetings as a result of me losing the weight, and I sit on the panel and, you know, give my advice from my perspective from type 2, because obviously I know what I'm talking about. I've been through it all, and Linda will tell you how hard it is. So that's a little bit about me. So that's my before and after. You'll see that I was never unhappy. You can see that I was always smiling. Culturally, it's all right to have a booty. It's all right to have everything. But I was unhealthy, so I was unwell. And as you can see, even in that picture there with the stripy dress, I was sweating profusely all the time, and I didn't know why. And it was because I probably had diabetes for a long time, but didn't know. Okay, let me tell you about my journey. Sorry, I'm going to just look at my notes, okay, just to remind me. And before I go any further, I should tell you what type 2 diabetes is. So type 2 diabetes is diabetes mellitus. That's the scientific name. And it's your pancreas, where insulin is produced, it's where you're producing a little bit of insulin, or what amount you are producing is not working properly. For type 1 diabetes, diabetes insipidus, it's where you are not producing any insulin. And the other major type is gestational diabetes, which women get in pregnancy, where they have high blood sugar in pregnancy. Just to let you know, sorry to be so technical, that insulin is a hormone and it's produced in your pancreas. I've learnt that in the islets of Langerhans. This is what I learnt at school, but that's just so you know that, okay? So that's the technical stuff out the way. So what happened to me? I was on holiday in Jamaica in 2017, September, and I call it the holiday from hell. It was a great holiday, but in brackets, the holiday from hell. I had, from the day 1 of going to Jamaica, a thirst. It was an extreme thirst, a thirst that you can't quench. So if you put a gallon of water in front of me, I still wouldn't quench my thirst. And I didn't know why at the time. So I was just drinking for dear life. Not even fruit punch, rum punch could have quenched that thirst. And towards the end of the holiday, I then had blurred vision. And I said to my husband, it's a bit blurry in here. And he was like, could be the sunshine. And when I arrived back in the UK, I said to my husband, I think I'm diabetic. All the symptoms I'd had on holiday, and I have to say this, it's extreme urinating. From drinking, you keep going to the toilet. It was a vicious circle. And even with that, when I got back to the UK, I went to my GP and told my GP, I think I'm diabetic. She tested my urine and said to me, you are definitely diabetic, and sent me to the hospital, where I had a blood test. Now, that blood test was my HbA1c. That blood test shows you your average over 3 months. So it shows you how much blood sugar I had in my blood over 3 months. Mine was 116. The average, my norm should have been 42 and below. That means my blood sugar was something like 15.5 plus at normal levels, dangerous levels, and abnormal. And that's what my hospital notes say. And I was sort of advised, had I probably stayed in Jamaica any longer, well, I'd probably be in a coma or something. And every time I sat down, I fell asleep whilst on holiday. My husband would keep waking me up, and I just thought I was really tired from the job I was doing. But it was dangerous. So, how was I treated? I was treated with metformin. So metformin are tablets that help with your blood glucose, okay? They help with your blood sugar. And I was also given some other tablets called sitagliptin. I think if the doctor had given me castor oil, I would have just taken whatever he gave me. I felt so rough that anything he would have given me, I would have taken. So I took these tablets, and they were to help me. Oh, hang on, I'm going to just go back a moment. Okay, so I was also told by my GP that I must not eat any carbs and not eat any sugar. In the world I come from, with Caribbean parents who cooked amazing food, I went home and I wasn't quite sure what that meant. And I know that sounds weird, but I was almost like, well, what do I eat? And I sat down with my husband and felt sorry for myself for 5 minutes. And after that, I was like, I need to get on with it. This picture here just shows you from Women's Radio Station. I've even got Lyndon on there because I've interviewed many people. Dr. Zoe from This Morning, she does the Fast Fix Diabetes. She's Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. And Lyndon. And Women's Radio Station, we were nominated for the Audio Production Awards, the Grassroots Awards. We didn't win, but we were definitely nominated. So just showing you some pictures. And I've interviewed many people along the way. So what did I do? Because this was a bit when I felt sorry for myself, because there's many symptoms that go with diabetes and many feelings. You will feel quite down when you find out that you've got diabetes. You feel alone, hungry, bad thing to say because you're not quite sure what to eat. So what did I do? I'm going to say that I read, R-E-A-D. I researched. The first thing I did was I had to find out, well, how can I help myself? So I looked at how much sugar, what 1 gram of sugar equaled. So 1 gram of sugar, 4 teaspoons of sugar equals 1 gram. That's what I discovered. So that meant I needed to start looking at everything I ate. And anyone with type 2 diabetes or diabetes will know that you have to look at everything that you eat and almost become obsessed with it. So I looked on sites like diabetesu.co.uk and Diabetes UK, and there was a lot of information for me. And I educated myself. I had to know what I was doing and what was going to happen to me. I was trying to get my blood glucose down. In February, I don't know if it was February 2018, I went back to my GP and had my HbA1c tested again. It was 97 millimoles per litre, which is still at dangerous levels. The GP said to me he's going to give me insulin, and I begged him not to. He said, I'm going to give you insulin, it's not getting down quick enough. So I said to the doctor, let me just go, please let me go, I'll go home, I'll do it properly, I promise. And I went home and I had to really take it seriously. So I was referred to a healthy eating course, a diabetic course, which tells you everything further about diabetes, and it really did help me. And I then started to really do it and lose weight. And I'm not saying that, because the thing about diabetes, you may be thin and have it, but it's about the visceral fat underneath your stomach. So it's what fat you carry around your middle. I've also seen that as an Afro-Caribbean, I'm twice as likely to get it as a white European, and a Southern Asian is 3 times as likely. These are the facts that I've learnt over the time, that last year, my journey, and it is very interesting. And I discussed and I asked. So I asked questions and I discussed with other people, because along that journey you meet other people that have had type 2 diabetes or are going through the same journey as you. And sharing your information with everybody, that really does help, because you then feel like you're not alone. You need support from your family, because although it sounds like it's nothing, it's not. It's serious for the rest of your life. You're looking at everything. You have to look at everything you eat. You have to exercise. And let me show you something. I know Sasha's going to laugh, but I do high intensity workouts, and I was a woman that couldn't. I was driving to a shop that was 30 metres away. Now I walk when I should be walking, and I walk, go for walks, I exercise. The one thing you guys must do, if you have any ailments, you must go to your doctor, and you must try and, you know, we want to be fit and well. It's about living a great life, isn't it, and being fit and well. Are you with me on this? Right, I'm just going to show you that I can actually, I know this sounds funny, but I can do a press up. So. Before that, I couldn't lift my own body weight. I couldn't do that. Now I'm sort of raring to go. It's been described that diabetes is like almost having a hangover, and I was told by the doctor that I must have had diabetes for about 5 years or more. Looking back, I realise I had. I stepped on a razor and my foot didn't heal. I had a kidney infection. These are things that kind of link maybe. And I said to the doctor, why didn't you say something to me before? Well, he said it wasn't all together, was it? I didn't have them all at once. A year before that, I'd had tingling in my feet, what they call neuropathy. And I thought it was menopausal. I thought I was going through the menopause. I was doing a stressful job in London, and I was in bed at 7 o'clock and wondering why I was so drained. but thought it was because the job was stressful. However, I now know it was diabetes. So I was practically killing myself, but didn't realise it. And if the truth be known, my mum and dad have diabetes, and so my sisters have type 2. But with all my naivety, I never bothered to find out what the symptoms were. I just ignored it. And that's what we do, we ignore things. I'm just going to move on, okay? Just a minute, I'm going to move on. So these are some of my choices. I'm just showing you. I make my own soups. I make food from scratch. I make stir fries. See that thing on the bottom there? It's called water. I drink water in abundance. Let me tell you something now. I used to drink cranberry juice every day. I was just thinking, this is great. I never thought it was sweet. So now I drink water with every meal. I'm almost, it is obsessive, but I feel good. And that's that record. I was going to come on to James Brown. I've got fruit, lemons. Who knew that lemon in a bit of water was just so easy? Hot water, herbal teas. I'm not telling you to have them. I'm telling you that they're my choices. Okay? It's for a healthy lifestyle. We've got to kind of listen. It's all very well culturally that, you know, oh, she looks good. Look at her bottom. I keep getting told about my bottom. Oh, she hasn't got a bottom anymore. And she hasn't got any boobs. You know what I say to that? I'm not in a coffin. If I'm going to have all that, I would have to be laying horizontal in a coffin. Because that was what the doctor said. The doctor said I would be dead. That's what he said if I continue any further. So, right. So as a result of everything else that's happened, and I thank, let's say I thank God, my family, everybody that has supported me, I've actually designed my own booklet, okay? So I'm hoping to take it into surgeries, and I will be selling it. So I've just designed literally a booklet showing my choices. It's not giving you advice. It's saying what my choices were. I'm not a doctor. I'm a person that's just been through it. I'm a level 2 gym instructor, so I took that exam, and I'm going to be a personal trainer, but take my level 3. But I'm not wanting to be a fitness instructor. I'm wanting the knowledge. So because I've got the knowledge, there's no point me talking if I don't know anything. So it's the knowledge that I want. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. And listen, take on board what I said. If you have any ailments, then you must go to your doctor. If you think you're diabetic, then do go to your doctor and take heed. Thank you, Dee, for letting me come here and talk about my journey. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Okay, Khadijah, is that right? Khadijah. Khadijah Ward is going to share. So you guys need to seriously pay attention, okay? Thank you.
Embrace your greatness and be your own boss. Let me hear you say, embrace your greatness. Embrace your greatness. That's right. That's going to be my signature talk today on this beautiful day, this International Women's Day. So give yourself a round of applause for being a woman. Right. Oh, sorry, I've lost my damn bloody notes now. I have to leave my notes. I first coined the phrase, embrace your greatness and be your own boss, because I wanted to inspire the woman, the black woman in particular, because we live in a hostile environment and we experience discrimination and racism in the workplace and in society as a whole. So this book is to elevate you, inspire you, empower you to embrace your greatness. And what do I mean, embrace your greatness? I mean finding the power within yourself, believing in yourself, your own personal power, to enable you to do anything that you want to do and achieve anything that you can in life. And that includes removing yourself from the 9-to-5 corporate plantation and being your own boss in life. I wasn't always my own boss. In fact, as a child, I struggled with self-hate, and I talk about that in my book. Yeah, but I found my greatness. I found my greatness, and I believe in my own personal power and the power of the woman, the power of our ancestors. We, the woman, are the fabric of society. We are the glue that keeps it all together. We are warriors. We are wives. We are sisters. We are daughters. We are leaders. We are business owners. We are empresses. Let me hear you say, we are empresses. Let me hear you say, you don't believe it. We are empresses. That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, I was in a fight with a big organisation, and I found my greatness to fight this organisation. Have you all heard of Hugo Boss? Who's heard of Hugo Boss? Yes. So if you were threatened by Hugo Boss, would you be afraid? I wasn't. I wasn't, because I'm great. I believe that I'm great. I first started Dark Girl Boss some years ago, but I decided, because I was going to make it a global brand, what I would do is I would trademark it. I would trademark it so I could take it global and it would be protected. So I just done a number of T-shirts. I wrote my book, but the book wasn't released yet. I was writing my book, and I'd done a few T-shirts out there, and then I submitted a application to the Intellectual Property Office, which you have to do if you want to trademark your logo or your name. So it took a couple of months, and I didn't hear from them. And one day there was a knock at the door. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't expecting anybody, and my son and I, we both went to the door together. And it was the postman. And I thought, oh, okay, what does he want? And he said, sign here, please. And I looked at what he was trying to hand me. It was like a see-through plastic bag with an A4 envelope in it. I thought, what? I thought someone had died and left me a big fat cheque or something. I just wondered what it was. I thought, what is this they're asking me to sign for? So I signed for it. I opened it, and I started to read it. And the blood was draining from my face. And my son said, Governor, what's wrong? Because my sons call me Governor, because I'm the boss, right? They call me Governor. So he said, Governor, what's wrong? And I said, Hugo Boss, they're threatening to take me to court. I couldn't believe it, because I was using the word boss. They threatened me. It was an 8-page letter from their solicitors. They threatened me to remove my logo, my name, Dark Girl Boss, from the Intellectual Property Office. I had to remove it from all of my social media, everywhere. I had to remove it, or they would take me to court. So that night, I lay in bed. I looked at the ceiling, and I said to myself, Hugo Boss, you've made a mistake. And your first mistake was thinking I was weak. I am an empress, and you're not going to beat me. I knew I was going to win, but I didn't know how I was going to win. So, what did I do? I took it to the media. All over social media, I went and I was posting it everywhere about Hugo Boss. They're trying to do this to me, they're trying to do that to me. It was picked up by 2 newspapers, the story. One was the I paper and the other one was the Voice newspaper. So my story was featured in those 2 media outlets. I was interviewed by Devon Daly on BBC Radio, and all of the BBC Radio across the country. I was interviewed. But everybody came out on social media and they were outraged. They were saying, fight them, fight them, fight them, fight them, don't let them win, fight them, fight them. And I was fighting them. And so after Hugo Boss saw all of the uproar, what did they do? We want to talk. Really? I didn't really want to talk to them at that point because I was really enjoying the publicity actually. My book was coming out soon, so it was really helpful to me. So in the end, they issued a statement to say that they wasn't going to take any further action. So I was free to carry on with my brand, and I was really happy. But I mean, I was prepared to fight them. I wasn't going to fight them in court. I fought them in a way that I knew that I could win, and that was in the media. And I did that by recognising my personal power, my own personal power. If I didn't feel power in myself, if I didn't feel that I was great, I would have shriveled up and gone into a corner and let them beat me, because it's happened before to many people. Because since that's happened to me, people have come out and said that they've fought with these large and conglomerate organisations. They've tried to attack them, and they haven't fought them because they've been afraid, because they have so much money and so much power. Yeah. So for me, it's about really feeling that you're great, believing in yourself, believing in your own personal power. And in my book, in Dark Girl Boss, it gives you what I like to call, they're called Embrace Your Greatness steps. So there's 7 steps after each chapter that advises you how to embrace your greatness. And there's stories of women in there that have been through many, many, many things, and they've overcome it and gone on to do really great things in business and in life, as well. And I like to say that I always say, actually, one of my quotes is to say that you can't become great until you eliminate self-hate. And that's why my book says, from self-hate to great, because as I said, I dealt with self-hate issues growing up, but now I'm powerful, I'm great, I just think I'm great. If once you do find your power and embrace your greatness, you will find that you will remove yourself from toxic relationships. You will find you will no longer, your tolerance will be 0. Believe me, you will find the strength and the way to just remove yourself from them, whether it be a partner, whether it be friends, whether it be a workplace or people at work. You will find that you remove yourself from these toxic relationships. And that is what embracing your greatness is all about. Feeling powerful and using your personal power, not as a narcissist or anything like that, but as a way to achieve, and also as a way to achieve what I like to call Empress Unity. Because I like to work with my sisters as well. I like to uplift other women as well, hence my book. I like to uplift other women. So for me, Empress Unity is very, very, very important. And you can't uplift other people until you yourself feel some kind of self-worth or some kind of power. So for me, it's very important to start with self. As I said, to start with self. So once you purchase the book, during the break, you get a signed copy, you will find the steps in here just to help you. And they're very, very simple steps. I'm not really going to talk about the steps, but they're just simple steps that people can do, anyone can do, and they're steps of empowerment. Yeah? I mean, I also like to draw upon my ancestors as well to give me power. That's one of the things that gives me power and makes me feel powerful, because I think that I come from power. And I like to think of people like Queen Nzinga, who actually was a warrior, and she was a military genius and an empire builder. I like to think of people like Queen Nanny, who fought in a hostile environment under terrible circumstances that I'm sure that you or I couldn't even imagine what it was like, went on to save the lives of others. I also like to think of Hypatia, an ancient Egyptian who was a mathematician and scientist. I always like to draw on the power as well of Madam C.J. Walker, who was the first female African-American millionaire. She was a great businesswoman, and she rose at a time when you wasn't even allowed to vote. You wasn't allowed to voice your opinion in the voting polls, so she really rose. But they're just a few people that I like to draw upon, to give me strength, to believe, to think that I come from these people. I'm great, I'm sorry, I'm great. I have to keep saying it, I'm great. If I don't keep saying it, I won't believe it, will I? I won't believe it. I have to say it. People may be thinking, oh God, you think you're great? What, you narcissist or something? No, you have to have the self-belief, otherwise you can't go on to achieve. You will keep yourself in situations where you're not happy. You won't be happy in those situations. So find your greatness. Find your personal power and use it to excel yourself, to elevate yourself, and to elevate you and yours and your sisters, your empresses. So that's why I call everybody empress, because as far as I'm concerned, we're all great. So I call everybody empresses. So with that, I see I'm like crawling over. I think my time's over now. It felt like about 2 minutes, actually. I haven't been talking that long. I've been talking about 2 minutes, haven't I? It's about 2 minutes, isn't it? Anyway, I hope I've got my quick message across, just to say about embracing your greatness. As I said, it's one of a phrase that I've created, that I believe in, that I try to push forward for everybody. And as I said, there's more about it in my book. So I hope you support the book, buy the book, and I hope it helps you to embrace your greatness. Thank you so much.
Okay, this song's playing because it's going to represent a lot of what I'm going to talk about. Because this is International Women's Day and there's a change coming. Okay? There is a serious change coming. And I've been waiting for a long time for this change. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about, so my name's Dr. Diahanne Rhiney. I was born and bred in this place called Luton, and I'm very proud to be from here. And I represent Luton actually globally, because I'm a global ambassador for women and girls, and I speak all over the world on serious issues that affect us. So the first one I'm going to talk about, I have a charity, and my sister over there is one of the people who looks after the workshops and stuff. Yeah. And what really upset me is what I was seeing, what was going on in schools in regards to domestic violence, domestic abuse. So I decided to make a difference. Now, women who experience domestic violence, which 2 women die every week. 2 women die every week. There are 800,000 children in the UK today who is experiencing some form of domestic violence. If you think about those numbers, 800,000, as I'm speaking to you today. And I thought, even though the women get help, even though I still think they need a lot more help with them closing all shelters and everything, the silent victims are the children. Often they're taken away from their homes and they're traumatised, and there is no facility to help them deal with the issues that they've had to experience. So, as I've got a big mouth, I decided to lobby government to say, this has to stop. And what we need in schools, you know, you're teaching our children about sex education. I think you need to teach them about what is a healthy relationship before you even talk to them about sex education. So we lobbied hard, 3 years lobbying government to have it, healthy relationships taught in schools as compulsory. Not a tick box, compulsory. And I'm happy to say this year it passed the bill, and it starts this year in all schools. It will be compulsory for children to learn about healthy relationships. This is a serious issue. It's called something, I'm not going to get too technical here, it's called there's a number of ACEs, what we call. And if you're a child who experiences a number of these ACEs, let's say 4 of them normally, that's domestic abuse, that's neglect, that's drugs, alcohol. If you're experiencing or witnessing those in your household, the results for you to either drop out of school, end up in prison or dead are so much more higher. We're talking about the violence that's going on the streets today. If I was to tell you the amount of young people I've interviewed, because I'm a psychologist who speaks to these people, more than 90% of the young people I interviewed had all had a number of those 4 elements. So this is where we have to make a real change. So that's what Strength Within Me, SWIM, does. We go out to do workshops in colleges, schools, universities, to educate. So even though I do a lot more work with women and girls, we also have to listen to the boys. Because if we don't educate our boys, it will continue to be a vicious circle. And sometimes it's the small things. I remember having a conversation with our brother, and I can't remember what my nephew did, but he missed the ball, he was playing football or something, and he started to cry. Now, my brother said to him, "Stop crying like a girl." And you know what? That's what people make, these throwaway comments all the time. But I had to have a word with him and say, "You're a good dad, but what you're telling your young son is to show emotion is weak." So you have to be careful on the things that we teach our children, because a lot of these things are learnt behaviour. So that's the first part, which I've been told I need to speak to you about today. The second part is, I don't know if you lot hear about all these buzzwords, diversity, intersectionality. I could go on and on and on and on. But one thing that I am very passionate about, I am proud of being a black woman. But it comes with its, let's say, issues and challenges. So I decided to create a platform for BAME women, women of colour, to be really recognised for the good work that we do. Because for me, when we talk about intersectionality, my first hurdle is as a woman, then my second one is as a black woman, and then for me, I've got an invisible disability. So I've got 3 of the intersectionality things that people talk about. So I thought, what can we do to really shine a light on my sisters? So that's when the Batons Awards was formed. And that is a yearly platform, it's an award ceremony, and it's where we recognise BAME women from various different fields who don't normally get recognised. But you know when you have these ideas, you think, who's going to come? A bit like here, isn't it, Dee? Yeah. You think, who's going to come? Who's going to turn up? We sent out the nominations, we got thousands all over the country. People in education, in professional services, doing amazing stuff. Really key role models, what our young people can look up to and say, this is what they're doing. And I thought, what is the best platform to have it at? So we had it at the Houses of Commons. And we had some amazing people win some amazing awards. And everybody who won an award had to go on and mentor a young person. So for me today, what I'd say to all of you is, you need to know that we are powerful collectively. I can't do all the things I do. It sounds like I'm doing all this great stuff. Yes, I am, but I've got an amazing team. I know amazing people that can help these initiatives move forward. You know, I was saying to someone the other day, and I wasn't telling them this to be show off, as you know. Sometimes we don't really like to stand in our sunshine, you know, and recognise that we've done some great stuff. But I came from Marsh Farm. I'm from Marsh Farm. That's where I went to school, you know. And I said a long time ago, I wanted to be in media and I wanted to do a great job. Now, I run an international media company and I've run it for over 20 years, giving jobs to hundreds of people. Yeah. I have met numerous people, famous people in my job and my work. And I remember one day, I always said I wanted to meet the Obamas. It's just something I wanted to do. And when I was invited to meet them, I said, you know what, as my mum would say, I've arrived. You know, I've arrived. So what I want to tell you guys, visualise, it's possible. Because if someone had told me, living in Marsh Farm, that I would represent women globally, I've met many dignitaries and people around the world, made changes, passed a bill, run a successful company, I would have said, get out of here. So I want you all to say, I am enough. So say it. I am enough. And I am the change agent. Because all of you here today can be change agents. Every single one of you. So I want to say, Dee, this is amazing. And I'm telling you, I've driven far to come here because I love supporting my sisters. And I love supporting the place where I come from because I do love coming from Luton. Thank you.